Oh, shoot. Sorry.
That was perfect.
I'm sorry.
You forgot your name.
I'm sorry. I forgot my name. Welcome to Tired, Tangled, and Always Casting On.
Where the stitch count might be wrong, but the vibes are always right.
I'm Erin.
And I'm Courtney. Let's unwind. Welcome back.
Episode 2.
Thank you guys so much for joining us last month on our introductory episode. We were so grateful for all the love and interaction. We're really excited to be back here for episode 2. We've got so much more great things to talk about.
We have a lot to talk
about. So let's just kind of dive right in. A little bit of catch up from last month. Erin, what have you been working on this last month?
I'm so excited to share. I have officially organized my stash. Once and for all, I went through all of the sweaters quantities of yarn, all the non-sweaters quantity of yarn. I have assigned yarn to a project. I have a spreadsheet because I am a nerd. And it was a lot of back and forth to Courtney. Courtney, I have this many yards of this yarn. What was I going to use it for?
Well, also she had to ask me what she had stashed yarn for. Yeah. And I don't know why she had to catalog her stash because I already had it cataloged up here for her.
She did. So I could have just pulled out any yarn and Courtney would have been able to tell me what I stashed it for. But it was driving me crazy to not kind of have the definition. I have, Ravelry, you put all your favorites in, and I have somewhat of a queue that I like to work off of, but I knew I had yarn that I bought specifically for something that I couldn't figure out. So it was just bothering me. So I took, some time. And then the very shocking detail that came out of all of this is that I only have 21 projects stashed.
21 projects. That's so little. That's less than a year of knitting in your stash.
So listen, it's if you want to equate lifespan to the amount of projects you have planned.
I'm going to live forever.
She will absolutely live forever. Yeah. And I only have about a year and a half. So
I am shopping like crazy for Erin right now to find her new projects to stash.
The thing, Courtney is trying to do a no spend March on yarn.
Yes, I made my last purchase of yarn today.
So she's going to spend my money instead, which that's fine. We're going to figure this out.
I spend other people's money really well, probably better than I spend my own. And I spend my own very well.
And the thing is, I think I might want to stash 1 or 2 more summer projects to do. I've probably got maybe a vest and a sweater left of winter knitting before we're all going to have to switch to summer knitting. I guess that's that's at least how I do it. So I think maybe 1 or 2 more summer projects to add to the 2 or 3 summer projects that I already have. So we'll see.
So, Erin,
the world is my oyster.
The world is your oyster, and I will see to it that oyster does not disappoint.
No, of course not. It never does.
So Erin has motivated me to try and completely catalog my yarn stash, and I've tried a couple of times throughout the years, various journaling, Ravelry, and I stopped using Ravelry because I would put project or yarn photos out there, and a lot of people would message me is this for sale? Is this for sale? And I don't like just saying no.
It's lovely. It's lovely if you're looking for a specific dye lot of something and you can message and say, hey, are you willing to part with XYZ? But I also think there's and I think Ravelry does have this feature where you can say for sale or not for sale or willing to trade or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I did that and I still got a lot of messages.
People need to respect that a little bit more. But,
So I stopped doing Ravelry and I kind of fell off Ravelry altogether. It's one of my goals this year is to kind of get back into it, at least posting projects.
That's it. I need to be better about posting my finished objects.
Yeah, and putting notes in there. I realize that I do a lot of reading other people's notes.
Yes.
Because I do a lot of subbing in different yarn than what the pattern calls for. So I like to read other people's notes so I can make sure I'm picking the right yarn for it.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm not being fair when I don't put my own project notes out there. So that's one of my goals is to get back into it.
I think I need to make more project notes.
Yeah.
I'm not a big modifier though.
I'm not a big modifier either, but I do sub a lot of like a different yarn. So how that, I don't know, I guess gauge wise.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
recently I've gone through a bunch of different projects, and what I love is the people that make the project their own. So if it's a vest, you see somebody add sleeves. If it's a dress, they play with the hem of the dress, to be a little bit more flattering for them. I love those. I also love that more and more designers are putting out patterns that have modifications for larger bust sizes, or bigger arms,
necklines,
or
different necklines.
And that, it shows, and I encourage pattern designers to do that, but then also make sure that you are valuing your time in doing all of that editing, and in putting that out there. If there are multiple necklines, if there are modifications for larger, bust sizes or smaller waists or whatever the case may be, make sure that you're, valuing your time in that pattern price. I love supporting designers who put that time and effort into creating those patterns, and I know it takes a lot of time and effort.
Yeah. I also think it's really nice to see other people's color combinations in Ravelry projects, especially so like Stephen West does amazing, brightly colored, loud, vibrant designs, and they're very eye-catching and appealing, but I know like I'm a bright colored person, so then I typically scroll past those projects, those patterns. But if I'm in a projects page and see someone knit up a West knit shawl in these gorgeous neutral tones, like, okay, now I'm in. Now, like, give me the yarn.
We're not talking sad beige, turning something beautiful into sad beige. We're turning something that's, maybe not
into beautiful
neon,
beige.
into beautiful beige.
Yes.
Or, more earth tones colors, or more neutral,
more my color
tones,
palette.
Or, pastels versus these like neon colors. Because those projects are built to be beautiful no matter what you create them in.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, anyways, Erin has inspired me to try and do a full catalog of my yarn stash, and I think I just never finished the project every time I set out to do it, because I realized just how big of a stash I have, and it becomes overwhelming. Like, I have to knit all of this before I die, because if I die before I knit it all and my husband outlives me, he's gonna burn it. He's gonna burn it. He's not even gonna treat it well.
What a tragedy.
I'm gonna put it into our will that
he has to give it to wonderful knitters who will love it and cherish it.
No, he's not even in charge of that. I'm just going to leave it to a knitter.
Me.
Erin. I'm gonna leave it to Erin. So today's main discussion is the curse of the boyfriend sweater.
The curse of the boyfriend sweater.
Dun, dun, dun.
Goodness. What a subject. Courtney did quite the deep dive into this, and I'm so excited to talk about it with her, because I just thought it was, to be honest, every time you made a sweater for a significant other of some sort, whether it be, a boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, husband, or any kind of permeation of that you immediately broke up with the person. Yeah. That's all I thought it was. But that's not the case.
So, okay, I was inspired to have this be our discussion topic for the month because my husband's birthday is this month, and I decided to do a surprise sweater knit for him. So I first heard about this, I think, very early on when my husband and I started dating, and I hadn't even thought about knitting for him. But a knitter friend said, like, oh, well, watch out for the curse of the boyfriend sweater.
That's how it happens. It's like an urban legend.
Yeah.
Everybody, you hear about it, and then, you say, oh, I'm just going to make this beautiful garment for my partner. And then all of a sudden somebody goes, oh, no, don't do that. It's the curse
this
of the
little
boyfriend
knitter
sweater.
Pops out of the corner of nowhere.
I know.
And, says,
then all of a sudden it's this
big
urban legend.
Yeah. And so the whole theory is that you're gonna, like, it'll cause you to break up. So what's interesting is there was this poll that was taken in 2005, and I don't have anything more than the results of the poll, like how many people answered or anything like that. But the numbers showed that 15% had experienced this phenomenon.
Goodness.
Yeah. And then 41% believed in the power of this urban legend.
Oh, gosh.
And so I think like as I kind of started researching this, like because so I've made my husband 4 sweaters now. And the very first one was shortly after we had started dating, after I had already heard about the Curse of the Boyfriend sweater. I think I was like, well, I'm going to prove it wrong.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. And then his third sweater was frogged because it didn't fit. And so this fourth one, I was like, okay, well, I know him well enough. Like we've been together a really long time and I'm going to make this complete surprise sweater for him in a pattern I think he'll like and a color I think he'll like. And then I started researching this Curse of the Boyfriend sweater. And I stumbled upon this really great book called The Curse of the Boyfriend Sweater by Alana Oken. And it's a collection of essays on crafting. And it's a beautiful book. She's a very well-spoken author. And a lot of it is just these stories about how knitting has been a part of her life in various different ways. But she has a chapter on the Curse of the Boyfriend Sweater, and she talks a lot about these ill-fitting garments, these garments that were never made, these just like the memories that are kind of fused into those projects. And I think that's more this curse than anything, right? It's not so much the like if you knit it the relationship will die. It's more this like how much you're putting into the knitting.
Well, and I think that speaks to a larger, topic. Obviously, knitting for a partner, that it's called the Curse of the Boyfriend Sweater, right? But there are a lot of gift knitters out there that are putting time and effort into a project, whether it be a sweater or a hat or a pair of gloves or a scarf. And I think you pour all of that love into the gift knit. You pour time, you pour money because yarn, costs money, regardless of whether or not you use something more expensive or you use a more budget yarn. You're physically doing something for somebody and giving them that project that you finished. As a selfish knitter, after I've put so much time and effort and money and frustration or happiness into a project, I want to keep it. That's what I want to do. And I think that there's this I'm always worried about the letdown after I give somebody a project.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? There's like making becomes a love language of sorts.
Yes.
And I mean, anyone can go out and buy something to give to someone else. But when you say, I'm going to make you something, it's like taking that extra step, like showing someone they mean a lot to you in your life. And so you're taking the time to craft something for them.
And then at that point, your emotions towards into the project to give it to somebody are at a much higher level than the person you are giving it to. And I think this curse is, I think maybe there's a little bit of it's not that you're giving the project to somebody and then you immediately break up. I think there's a heightened emotion around the project.
Yes.
And that causes other heightened emotions to be a little bit come out to the forefront. But I also think that that's I don't think that's boyfriend or partner related. I think that's just people related.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. That's my my little opinion.
I think for me, the big curse is not necessarily the breakup or the like that part of the curse. Although it did take my husband 12, 13 years to propose. So I guess maybe there is a little bit of a curse. I wonder how long it would have taken had I not made him that first sweater. We'll never know.
Never know.
But I think for me, the real sweater curse is that any sweater I've made for someone else, and I've actually made quite a few, like I started thinking before filming today, how many sweaters I've made for other people. They almost never, ever fit. They almost never, ever fit. I made a cardigan for my mother-in-law that turned into a duster. I made my sister-in-law and her family a set of matching ski sweaters. Her sleeves were well past her hands. The first sweater I made for my husband was a cardigan. It's so chunky and oversized that he only ever wears it in the winter over his pajamas. It's like his house coat.
Which is adorable, by the way.
It is adorable. And he still wears it. He still pulls it out. And I mean, there's something that gives me the warm and fuzzies every time he pulls it out and puts it on. And he never makes a show of it. He's never like, oh, look at me wrapped up in this cozy cardigan. He just puts it on. And there's like seeing him like curled up in the armchair in this sweater is almost like I'm hugging him. Like I'm sitting there with him, like we're wrapped up together. But this most recent sweater that I made him, I was so excited. I like knit everything in secret. I was up at 3:30 every morning, like doing it in like secret so he never saw me working on it. And I got it done quick because I wanted him to have an opportunity to wear the sweater once or twice before it got warm out. So I gave it to him the other day, like not even in a gift bag. I just had like a paper bag and I threw some tissue in it. Like, here's your birthday present. And it didn't fit again. Oh, no. I even had like his sweaters that I was pulling out and trying to match to like the previous ones that I had made. And it's like 6 inches too long. So I have to rip it back out. I guess like, thank goodness it's 6 inches too long and all I have to do is tear back and redo the ribbing. I don't have to like go in and add more.
And you did account for that because you did leave yourself a good tail.
Yeah, so I can get back in and fix it. But I mean, that's kind of depressing too because first of all, I spent an extra day knitting on this project when I didn't have to. And now like it's really hard to go back to a project once you've finished
it. Put your stamp on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I have a sweater from 5 years ago that I knit and the cuffs are way too tight. Never worn it. Ugh. I've never ripped it out to fix the cuffs.
Man.
And I've never worn it. It's just...
I made my husband a sweater very early on in our relationship when we weren't married. And I was so excited. He loves alpaca, just the animal. So I decided I was going to buy him alpaca yarn and knit him a sweater. I was also a very beginner knitter at that time. And this was only going to be my second sweater that I had ever knit. And gauge? What's gauge? Substituting yarn. What does that mean? I have no clue. And so I took one of his sweaters and I just decided that I was going to measure that. And then I did the size in the pattern that was closest to it. I did a flax sweater. It's a lovely pattern. It's a great beginner pattern. I left out the ribbing on the sleeves to make it just, solid, or the garter on the sleeves. And I was super excited. I was like, I'm going to knit this beautiful sweater. I got this beautiful alpaca. Well, I blocked it. I wet blocked it. It's alpaca. And I was also using yarn that was slightly larger than the gauge called for. And I didn't know that. So here I go with this sweater to my husband. Now, he's a tall drink of water, my husband. And so he's, I thought maybe the length needed to be a little longer. So I did put a little length on the bottom. Well, it was down to almost his knees. The sleeves were, and he's a tall man, and the sleeves were past his, and it looked so big on him, and I immediately burst into tears because I was so upset. I was so upset. And he's like, you're a beginner knitter. This is what happens. And I frogged it, and it's sitting in my box of shame. The yarn is sitting in my box of shame, and I've never looked at it again.
So
it's so upsetting. So upsetting.
Do you think you'll ever reknit this sweater?
So hats are our wheelhouse now. Okay. He loves a hat. He loves a warm hat. So I've knit him 3 hats. This last Christmas I did him a cashmere hat, which he is obsessed with. Yeah. So now we've stuck to hats.
Okay.
He's not a huge sweater wearer in general. He likes a good sweatshirt, sweatshirt material, but he doesn't like sweaters and wool. So we're going to stick to hats, and that's kind of the gift that we have agreed on.
What if you did like a wool cotton blend for like a 3 seasons
Maybe. He likes a certain type of collar, which I think I can do. I think there's patterns out there for the collar that he likes, or if I did a V-neck, I think I might. Again, I'm a selfish knitter. I like to keep the projects short if I'm giving it away, because then I can knit for myself. But
so I think the sweater curse for you is that you never went and made another sweater.
I never and the yarn, I can't even look at the yarn
It's just tucked away in a black box.
It is in my box of shame, and it's never, I don't know. Maybe I'll use it one day. I don't know what you use 100% alpaca for, but it's beautiful yarn. But now it's, it's definitely one of those projects where I think about and I'm like, man, if I had just thought through gauge and everything, and it was back before Tin Can Knits also was kind of like had that pattern for fingering DK worsted. They are, I mean, that app is immaculate to use.
Come so far, yeah.
But I just, it's one of those things where and he was so grateful for the time and effort. That's not to say that, he wasn't grateful. But I won't ever go back to it. And now we do hats instead.
Well, you found what works.
And he loves the hats that I've made him. He wears them constantly. Yeah. He's bald, so it's good.
Yeah, my husband does love hats too. I think I've made him 4, and he's got one that he loves and wears every winter. Yeah. So, and I find that the accessories are like better for gift knitting because you just 9 times out of 10 they're gonna fit, right?
I made my father-in-law and mother-in-law hats for Christmas very early on in our relationship. I think it was actually the year we got married, and they live in the Netherlands, and it's not always the coldest in the Netherlands. They don't have really harsh winters like we do in the Midwest. But my father-in-law will text me every single year that since I've made that hat, that he's got his hat out of storage and he's wearing it again, which I think is the cutest thing in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
And he sent me a picture the first year he wore it, but now he just sends me a quick text and tells me that he's getting it out of storage and he's wearing it today.
Yeah.
He gets so excited for when it's cold enough to actually do that in the Netherlands, which I think is adorable.
That is absolutely adorable.
And see, those are the good experiences of gift knitting.
Yeah.
This curse, I think you're absolutely right. There's something deeper to the curse of the boyfriend sweater.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's not so much this you're putting this stamp on your relationship that it has an expiration date.
But I guess we're curious. Has anybody made a sweater for their partner and then broken up?
Yeah.
Or have you only had positive experiences with gift knitting?
Or have you had experiences like ours where they're ill-fitting, or you're not making sweaters at all for them?
Leave a comment. We'd love to understand.
We want to know.
We want to know. We're very nosy people.
Yeah.
All right. Courtney, we have some questions to answer.
We do.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for sending your questions. Thank you for engaging with our social media and our YouTube videos, but we're very excited. We're happy to answer any and all questions. If you have questions about knitting, if you have questions about yarn,
patterns,
coffee, chomps. Everybody really liked the chomps in the last video. I'm happy, not a sponsor, but I would love to be one. Feel free to send over your questions. We're happy to answer them.
All right, well, let's start with our first question.
This one's rather controversial, and I'm very excited to answer it because I have a strong opinion about it.
I think we both do.
Yes.
So is it team outside pull or team inside pull? Outside pull.
Clearly. People, there's no question. Outside pull for the win.
So let's talk a little bit about it. Okay. Yeah. We have props. We do.
We have stuff to show.
So when we're talking about outside versus inside pull, are we pulling from the outside of the ball, or are we taking the yarn from the center and pulling out the center? Okay, so in this type of put up, this is a manufacturer put up. It's ready to use. You should absolutely be pulling from the outside. And here's why.
Yarn vomit is real.
Yes, yarn vomit is real. So the machines that they use to wind these up, wind the yarn in such a way that it's not meant to be pulled from the outside. And if you do pull, or not meant to be pulled from the inside, I'm sorry. If you do, you're going to risk knots forming. And you're going to get this yarn vomit. And I'm sure everyone has experienced it.
There's also this extra twist that will happen as the yarn is coming out of the inside of the ball versus the outside where it doesn't twist as much because there's more surface area for it too. So you're less prone to having that kind of extra twist with all those knots and tangles and all kinds of interesting things can happen.
Yeah. So I know with this type of form, a lot of people don't like when they're pulling from the outside of the ball, how it rolls all over the place. And so I found that a great way to combat that is to have like a large enough bag or bowl or box on the floor beside you. The floor is important, not on the seat that you're sitting on. You need to have it on the floor. And then you can just pull up on the yarn, and that ball is going to flop around in whatever container it's in, but it's not going to roll all the way across the floor. So with this other type, this is a cake that's been wound from a skein and now ready to use. You could pull from either the outside or the inside with this type of winding. However, when you pull from the inside, the cake starts to collapse and you lose that structural integrity. And so you're now also risking yarn vomit because it's just kind of collapsing in on itself and it can knot more easily. So we recommend pulling from the outside for both formats.
We're team outside. I'm sorry for my watch there.
That's all right. She just wants to be part of the conversation. She has an opinion too.
Apparently, she said that you need to pull from the outside as well. Listen, the yarn bowl doesn't have to be fancy, right? You don't have to go and invest in a new object. You can use your salad bowls. You can use your
an empty trash can.
You can use your knitting bag. Just prop that up and put it in there. There's nothing fancy about the, and look, everybody loves a pretty yarn bowl. I mean, I've got two just because they're so pretty. But I don't. Do I always? Well, I know. Do I always pull them out? No. Do I just throw my yarn in a bag and stick that on the floor when I'm knitting? Absolutely. So you don't have to invest in anything fancy. I think for to ease your frustrations with your yarn, and how much you're managing your yarn, pull from the outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just pull from the outside.
Just pull from the outside.
Okay.
All right. Next question.
How do you pick up where you left off when, gasp, you have to put down your knitting? And so the question is, how do you keep track of where you've left off when you have to walk away from a project? Which, I mean, look, we all have.
Gosh, wouldn't it be nice if we could always just sit down and work a project from start to finish?
I mean, goodness gracious. But no, you can't do that. Real life happens. And so I guess for me, I tend to use digital patterns or have some sort of digital where my patterns are, or I'm using an app on my phone. And for me, I will put a highlight or something. I also try to see if I can finish a section of the knitting that I'm doing prior to putting the knitting down. If I can't do that, then it's a highlight and the date. Or where I finished off, so that when I pick it up back again, I can know exactly where I am and what the stitch count should be.
Yeah, I think having checkpoints that you need to get to, like this is a good place to stop, is really great when you're working a complicated pattern. So I have a regular notebook that I'll put notes in. A lot of the times I'm just making notes on where my sleeve decreases are or how many rounds I'm doing to get to the cuff. For some of those more detailed patterns, like a lace chart or something like that, I like to end on what's considered like end on a round.
Right.
Never end in the middle of a project or middle of a round or a row. Yeah. I think it's very important, like for me to be able to pick it back up and know like I'm starting fresh on a new
of this next row. Yeah.
I also think with like lace charts or anything like that, having that pattern printed out rather than digital so that you can have that post-it note or washi tape or ruler, whatever you're using on there. I think with digital patterns, I'm always afraid that the line is going to move. Although the nice thing about if you're using a digital pattern and you upload it into a note app like GoodNotes, you can just go in and cross out the line that you've done. So you know exactly where you're at. Row counters are really great, especially if they're locking, to let you know where you're at. I like to do, when I'm doing like sleeves, I think like that's the big one, making sure like the lengths are the same, your decreases are at the same spot. So when I do my sleeve decreases, I will figure out if it's saying decrease every inch 18 times, I figure out what that inch is.
Right. That's the best. Yes.
So I do my first decrease, and locking stitch markers are your best friend when you're doing that. So you do your first decrease wherever the pattern tells you to do it. You insert a locking stitch marker into that decrease stitch, and then you work till whatever it says. So if it's 1 inch, you do your 1 inch, you do your next decrease, you put your locking stitch marker in, you figure out how many rounds were in between those decreases. So if it's 6 rounds, I then go and math that out in my notebook and say, okay, now I'm going to be doing sleeve decreases on rounds 7, 13, 19. I'm not going to keep doing the math in my head.
Sure.
And I'll write that all down.
Impressive.
Knitting math. It's the only math I'm good at. So I'll have that all written in my notebook, so I don't have to think about it. I can go and just like, as I'm doing my row counter, go, oh, this is going to be a decrease round. And then I'm super anal, so I will still do locking stitch markers down my decreases so I can quickly go back and check that I've done them all. It's like a great little make sure I did it.
And I'm almost done with my sweater. I just got to the ribbing last night. I needed to get to 8 inches of stockinette stitch, which, I mean, everybody has their opinion on whether or not they like stockinette stitch or not. But I figured out how many rows per inch I was getting, so that I knew, okay, I only have to do this many rows left. Because I thought, okay, I've got 8 inches, I've got 6 rows an inch, I've got 48 rows that I've got to do to get to my 8 inches or whatever the number was. So that was my motivation to get through. And I was like, okay, 6 rows a night is only a few nights until I get to the end and I get to do my ribbing. So like that's also a really great yes, it's great knitting math and kind of you can help figure out where you are, but I think it's also a great motivator for people who are like, oh, I'm in stockinette world. No, if you only have to do X amount of rows and you can tick those off, then you're keeping yourself motivated.
Yeah.
Did that answer the question? Did we answer the question?
I think so. Yeah. If you need a follow-up to that, just drop it in the comments and we'll answer it in the next episode.
Smoke signals, pen, pencil, paper, stitch markers, digital apps that count down for you, whatever the case may be, find something that works for you.
What is this? Oh, you're talking about the stitch markers in the sleeve. I thought she was saying like write it on a stitch marker. Whatever your question is.
Oh, they do have stitch markers where you can write like they're like dry erase stitch markers.
Oh, they do. Yeah. So that could be handy.
Right. Listen, whatever works for you, and hopefully you've got a couple of ideas from us.
Yeah.
Who are we? Just two chicks on
well,
a
that
podcast.
Is the question. Who are we? All right. Our last question. So what are the knitting tools you cannot live without?
I'm so excited. Okay. So
I don't know what she's going to say. Here's
the thing. I, up until very recently, did not use purl strings. And everybody was so shocked about it. And I'm of the stash yarn, scrap yarn for the win. As far as I always keep a little bit of scrap yarn in my bag. And so if I need to hold, stitches, I can just, throw them on some scrap yarn and call it a day. But here's the thing. Last night I needed to try on my sweater to see if I liked the length before I started the knitting. So I threw a purl string on it. And in the process of trying on this sweater, the yarn I was holding the sleeve with snapped. And I had to catch my stitches pretty quickly. Now, I'm very fortunate I'm working with some super sticky wool. So nothing bad happened. But when I tell you I am now purl string stan, I am a purl string stan. Immediately threw both sleeves on my purl strings. And I am never going to use scrap yarn again. So
I can't believe it's taken you this long to discover purl strings.
I'm not a gadget girl.
I have purl strings in every color. Every color.
I'm not, and I don't love a knitting gadget. I like straightforward, like I just like, easy, except like I like just easy. I don't like to carry a lot of accessories. I mean, my knitting bag has a lot of things in it, but it may not be related to knitting. But I like an app that I can click when I finish a row. I like just, a scrap yarn in my bag. I have the teeniest, tiniest little bit of notions, and that's it. I'm not a person that carries a lot of like knitting paraphernalia, but I am now a purl string stan. It takes a minute to get through it. You have to YouTube it a little bit to figure out how to use them.
You could have just phoned a friend.
Once you get it, you get it. I mean, I was doing this at like 9:30 last night,
so
I
really been in bed.
I know. But I'm telling you, these are genius and worth the investment. It's not, I mean, they're not super expensive, but again, it is an extra thing to buy. And, but
apparently I've never used my purl strings in front of Erin because she would have known about this long ago had she seen that. I have every tool known to man when it comes to knitting. And I feel very much like Lorelai Gilmore. Remember when she was going fishing for the first time and she was really against it, or whoever she was dating took her fishing.
Yes.
And she was like, you didn't tell me there was an outfit. I'll do anything for a new outfit. That's me with knitting tools.
So then tell me your favorite ones.
I don't know that I have a favorite one.
All right. Name top 2.
Well, obviously my needles.
Well, that's an obvious one.
Okay, but it is a tool, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. I like interchangeable needles.
Let's leave that discussion for another time.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay.
If you're going to do fixed versus interchangeable, then I'm a bigger fan of interchangeable than I am fixed, but we can have that discussion another time.
So probably my collection of stitch markers. I love fancy stitch markers. I like Katrinkles makes these beautiful wood and acrylic stitch markers. Hello Lavender does some incredible clay designs.
They're always my favorite things to pick up at yarn festivals.
Yes.
Because people are making such beautiful... First of all, people are making beautiful yarn, but there are these makers that make these beautiful stitch markers. And if you're not looking to spend a lot of money, but you want a souvenir from the festival, stitch markers are a great way to do that.
Absolutely. And I also think they're really nice for beginning of round markers.
Yeah.
It's just
a fancy.
Yeah,
something to get excited for.
Yeah, and to motivate you to get to the end of the round and move on to the next one.
Stitch marker. I'm back at the beginning.
So that's what I'm going to say is my knitting tool that I can't live without.
I love that.
So,
yay.
Thanks.
All right. Those were some great questions, people. Keep them coming. We'll post on our Instagram call to action for some questions. You can post them in the comments below on the video, or
find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook,
wherever you want. Please feel free to.
If you see us out in the wild, stop us. Ask your question.
Do you know what we forgot to do?
Talk about what we're wearing. Oh my God.
I know. Goodness gracious.
Yes.
We totally skipped that part.
We're just so excited to get into today's conversation.
I know.
So let's talk about what we're wearing.
It's almost as if we haven't talked to each other in a whole hour. Okay.
All right, you kick us off. What are you wearing?
I am wearing the Bifurca vest by Teti Lutzek. I'm obsessed with her patterns. I
think this is the first vest I ever saw you in. Like the first knitted garment I ever saw you in.
She has these beautiful, special designs. The construction of this sweater was the biggest challenge I had ever undertaken as a knitter.
It's very unique.
I am obsessed. I wear this vest all the time. It is knit with Kelborn Woolen's Scout.
Scout?
Yeah.
It's such a tight gauge.
Yeah. Well, it's a smaller needle. Is it Scout? No, it is Scout, I believe. Oh, gosh. Now I have to fact check myself.
Scout is the DK weight. You're sure it's not perennial?
No, it's Scout.
Wow.
Yes, okay. I know. I had to double check that. It's Scout. I was looking for, she had knitted in like a two-toned color, but I wanted more of like I love the green, I love green. So it just wanted to be a little bit more. I wear this all the time. All the time.
She does. Yeah.
I love a vest because I don't have to do sleeves. I also tend to run a little bit hot, so vests are better for me because it's a handmade garment that I don't have to. It's not too warm to wear. But this was a challenge. My husband will always say he knows when a pattern is challenging for the amount of times that I curse while I'm making it. And he said, you cursed a lot when you made this one. And
so talk about memories being fused into your knitting.
No, of course. But I love the end result of this was I challenged myself to do a lot of different techniques that I hadn't ever done before. And it was very satisfying at the end. So
yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
I love wearing this. And what are you wearing, Courtney?
So you guys might recognize this as my whip from last month. So this is my Carla cape from Ann Vensel. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, not really. All right. I love this piece. I just finished this. I haven't even fully blocked it yet. I just did a steam block, and I do think it actually turned out pretty good for just a steam block with
I think it looks great.
Yeah, the only thing is these button bands, and I think it might just be that they're a little heavy, especially with these toggle buttons on there. But I knit this using Barocco Hearthside held with Barocco Ariel. The original pattern called for some Issachar yarn. But I like to always choose yarn different than what's called for in the pattern. So I went with Barocco instead. And I've been having a lot of fun pairing Barocco Ariel with different yarns.
It's lovely.
Oh my goodness. The halo. I don't know if we can.
Can you see the fuzz? Do the influencer thing.
Yeah. It's so good. It's not like, it's good fuzz. It's not like overly fuzzy, but it's also not like just a barely there fuzz.
And the colors are gorgeous.
Oh, the color. Yes.
Yeah.
And it just adds like that next level to the project. And then this Hearthside is this beautiful chainette alpaca cotton. Yeah, I think it's alpaca and cotton. It's very warm. The drape is incredible. It's a bulky weight yarn, but it doesn't feel heavy like a traditional bulky weight yarn. It's got some good bounce and lightness to it. It might be a little too warm for this today, but I just need to get as many wears in as I can before
that's
it gets
the thing.
warm
We're kind of we're coming to the end of sweater weather.
Yeah.
And
well, we're coming to the end of wool sweater weather. It's always sweater weather if you knit year round with different fiber types.
But for me, the heavier knits are going to have to go away pretty soon. As far as that's concerned.
I'm just going to turn the AC down to a nice, cool 62 in my house so I can wear those sweaters.
And Courtney's become the toggle button dealer in all of our knitting circle.
Okay, I needed to make sure I had the perfect color.
She ordered a lot of different colors and was walking around with handfuls of toggle buttons. Which one do I do? Which one do I do?
But I found this incredible button dealer on Etsy, and she was out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm not kidding you. Every order I placed for buttons, like 2 hours later, they were in the mail and on their way to me.
We'll put the link for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the because the toggle buttons all the colors that she had purchased for the options were beautiful, and now she's just peddling toggle buttons to everybody who needs buttons.
$1 a toggle. Slowly but surely, I will have enough for my next yarn purchase. That won't happen in March.
Not in March. April. And she's just going to spend my money.
Mm-hmm. All right, should we dive into what we are obsessing over this month?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're both obsessing over pretty much the same thing.
Well, it's by coincidence. I had stashed this brand's yarn for a Sophie scarf ages ago, and I just found it. And then I ran into Courtney the other day. I was like, look, I cast this on. And she's like, oh, this? And she pulls out the same yarn with a different project.
Yeah, we just happened to be knitting with the same yarn.
So
our obsession this month is some of Cascade's hidden gems. So I think we're all really familiar with Cascade's kind of popular lines, 220, Heritage.
Beautiful yarn. Yes. Perfect for beginners. Perfect for everybody.
Yeah. Great workhorse yarns. Yes. Very beginner friendly in terms of workability, but also the price. But then if you dig a little bit deeper into Cascade's lineup, and I know it's a big lineup.
It's a huge lineup. They have a lot of yarn.
Yeah, they have a lot of yarn. They have something for everyone. Yeah.
It's almost like we're the same person.
But they have a couple of hidden gems that have proven to be incredible yarns to work with.
Yes.
And there's a couple that we want to talk about today. There's some really great like traditional heirloom style wools, and then a couple of more luxury style wools.
Can we talk about luxury first?
Yes, let's talk about luxury.
So the yarn in question that Courtney and I are both using at the moment is a newer one to the Cascade line. It is their Cascade Marrakesh. Which is
80% fine merino wool and 20% cashmere. We're still obsessed with cashmere.
Always obsessed with cashmere. The yarn is gorgeous, and if it is a lovelier price point for cashmere because of that extra fine merino in it. And then why don't you talk about the nerdy ply thing that you talked to me about?
Okay. So
why is this so nice, Courtney?
This is so nice because this is 6 double plies. What does that mean? There are 6 plies of yarn in here, but each ply is a double ply itself. I can't really. Can we see that?
I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I mean,
there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have a 2-ply yarn, that yarn is those plies are going to push against one another and they want to open up. But then you take those 2-ply strands and you ply them with 6 2-ply strands, and now that pushes back in. So you get this incredibly bouncy, tight twist that is just giving incredible stitch definition.
It's beautiful yarn. It's beautiful yarn.
Incredible.
Super squishy. Soft, but not, but still kind of will give you a little bit of like, with that stitch definition, you're still getting a little bit of toothiness, but it's just.
Yeah. And it's non-superwash wool. Which is really nice. I think it adds a nice element, especially blending it with that cashmere. Yes. So really like kind of leaning into that luxury.
Right. The colors in this line are also, there's nothing overly bright or, it's more muted, earthier tones in there. There is something for everyone. And I think I didn't pick green, which says something about the fact that there's so many pretty colors in this line.
Yeah.
So I cast this on because I needed just like a little palette cleanser project or something that I can bring with me. But I was so excited to find this when I was organizing my stash. I didn't even put it in my spreadsheet because I literally cast it on immediately. I was like, well, I'm already using it, so I don't have to put it in my stash.
The side effects of cataloging your yarn stash is that there's like 18 things you want to cast on right away.
I did. So there.
So this is a DK weight yarn. Marrakesh is a DK weight. And you could probably make it work for a heavy sport weight pattern also because of that like tight twist on there. I think I'm working it on a US 5. Nope, I lied. I'm on a 6. And then the other really nice luxury yarn they have that's very similar to Marrakesh is Maraceta, which is, let's see here, we have a skein of that, and that is, I'm looking at the wrong side, 75% extra fine merino wool, so the same merino wool that's in the Marrakesh, but now it's 25% silk, same 6 double ply. And again, really fantastic stitch definition.
But you're going to get a little bit of shiny,
a little bit of
sheen on this one versus the cashmere. This one's going to give you that. And then it's, I'd say very comparable softness to the two, but this one's going to give you a little bit of extra sheen to it, which
and
I think
a little
is
bit of drape
on
also, having that silk in there.
Yeah.
And again, a color palette very comparable to the Marrakesh. So
lovely yarn.
Okay, so I think that covers the luxury lineup from Cascade that we recently discovered.
And then we did discover a sleeper hit, which both her and I are very excited about, and I'm desperately trying to find a pattern for. But you've already found a pattern for it. It is the Cascade Yarn Aegean Tweed. This is gorgeous. It is a lovely tweed option. It's organic wool.
Woolen spun.
Organic wool. And it is, I'm trying to get the yard. It's 328 yards.
For $13.
For $13.
$13.
Which is wild to me. This yarn is absolutely spectacular. Both her and I have swatched it.
Multiple things.
It's absolutely.
So look at this texture. Look at that.
What
it is
what an
incredible.
Interesting find. Look, we all were very sad when Brooklyn Tweed went out of business, and I'm knitting with it now, and it's lovely, lovely yarn. But if you're looking for a woolen spun DK,
like heirloom traditional wool,
and I mean, this price point is wild to me.
Yeah.
That they're able to give you 328 yards for $13, which is amazing. So, highly, highly recommend finding a few projects that would be wonderful. I think I have the project in mind. I'll bring it with me next time because I'm sure I'll cast it on. But I am so excited to work with this.
Yeah, me too. I cannot wait.
And it's no surprise to anybody that I'll probably be knitting green. But that's cool. We're fine with that. It's all good.
And then there's one other one that we want to talk about, and that is Friday Harbor.
Thank you.
So this one is...
I have to look on the right side of this one. This one is 80% merino wool and 20% silk.
The difference here is that this is also woolen spun, and I think it's got some recycled fibers in there, which is giving it this tweedy look.
Which is kind of, I don't know if you can see, the silk brings a different tone due to the way I think they dye this. So it does give that like a little bit of a tweedy look to it. It also feels so
super
light and squishy. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a woolly wool. Yeah. It feels almost feels like a cotton blend. Like
so this one would definitely give you that like sweatshirt vibe if you were to knit it up. So I mean, hey, if you're looking to ever make your husband a sweater again, this would be the one.
This would be beautiful. Maybe not this color, but
also, yeah, maybe not salmon pink, but I don't know.
Maybe
real men wear pink,
real
right?
Men wear pink.
So this one is, you've got 219 yards in a skein for $13.50.
I mean, again, it's a great price point. It's a lovely yarn. It would make a great transitional garment. Fall, spring,
absolutely.
So because I don't know. I mean, you're gonna obviously depending on what you knit, you're gonna get a lot of warmth out of it. But if there's a lightness to it, and there's a squishiness to it, and that silk is bringing that lightness, and I think that's a really great transitional.
Yeah. My plan here is to work up a vest. This little micro stripe vest.
Very cute.
Also,
color selection is beautiful.
Currently obsessing over swatching. I just love to swatch.
Every time I see Courtney, she's got
a stack of swatches. Here's the thing. Like, it is the ultimate instant gratification.
I hate swatching.
Oh my God. I love it. It's like, okay, I have like 2 hours. I'm going to knit a swatch. I have a lunch break. I'm going to knit a swatch. And it's like the possibilities are endless with a swatch. You can see what that project might look like. Did I choose good colors? Do I like working with this yarn? Am I going to hit gauge?
Yeah, that's the thing. I have started swatching, but I will swatch right before the project. So I will take whatever the next project on my needles, I'll swatch, and then I start. Based on if I get gauge or not. I'm not a huge swatcher before I start, like prior to starting.
This is my motivator. Like if I'm getting near the end of a project and I just don't want to keep going, it's like, well, you have enough projects on the needles.
Totally get that.
But you can knit a gauge swatch.
Sure. Yeah.
No shame in knitting a gauge swatch.
Yay.
She says with 20 gauge swatches.
Oh, goodness gracious. So Cascade, listen, there again, you workhorses of yarn. 220 is a lovely line. Heritage is also a lovely line, but there are these sleeper hits that I think people are not, again, because the selection is so wide, that people are missing. So
yeah. So let us know if you've worked with any of these yarns that we've talked about, if you've also discovered some of these sleeper hits.
Are we Are we late to the game?
Are we late to the game?
Are we late to the game? Are we early to the game?
Or are there other hidden gems that you've discovered from Cascade that we didn't talk about and we should know about? Share those also.
Yes, please.
Yeah. All right. So I think it's time for the chaotic portion of what's in your project bag.
Okay, everyone, listen. I think I definitely cleaned my project bag out. I don't have a full travel case anymore, full of
much to our sadness.
But here's the thing: a good friend of mine gave this to me for Christmas, and I really wanted to start to keep it closer to me whenever I needed a little moment. So in my knitting bag this week is my daily pickle of positivity jar.
What?
It's the positive pickle, and in this jar are just little positive pieces of, positivity. So today's pickle of positivity is I lead with love and greatness follows. So for anybody who needs a positive pickle today, that's what I have in my knitting bag.
I want to know what my pickle of positivity is. Are we ready? I inspire greatness in those around me.
You do. You really do. See? And this is the thing. Here's the, there's a lot of stuff happening in the world that you can get upset about. Knitting brings me a lot of joy, and making sure that I take moments to appreciate that joy are really important. And having my positive pickle is very motivating. So that's what's in my knitting bag. I also still have a Chomps in there.
Is it the same one from last time?
No, it's different because you can never know when you need a snack. No, again. And then can I show my fishy tails?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Okay. So I'm working on the King Salmon sweater by Caitlin Hunter. And I have knit the fishtails, and I can't get over it. The fishtails just kill me. The two things on this sweater that I really could not. Once I knit the eyes, I was like, these have eyeballs. And then as soon as I got to the fishtails, I was just dying, giggling the entire time I was knitting the fishtails.
This is what I think Erin needs to do with this sweater, and I think you guys should comment and agree with me, is we know she loves some sparkle, so I think she needs to take some sparkle yarn and duplicate stitch some fish scales in there.
Wild. And I'm sure there are people out there that have done like rainbow fish versions of this, which I think would be really fun.
Just a few
but
sparkles.
I'll tell you what, the fishtails brought me so much joy to knit, and I don't know why, but I love Caitlin Hunter and her fish sweaters, and I hope she makes many, many more.
Pull this back out one more time, because I feel like there's a few more things that need to be said about this beautiful sweater. Number one, this color combo. Oh my goodness. I love an ochre yellow so much, and this is what is it, Hayloft?
Yes.
Oh my God, I have so much of this in stash. It's such a good color. I'm really sorry that you can't get it anymore. And the creamy oatmeal for the background, but then the texture, which you guys can't feel. Oh, I wish you could though. Oh my goodness.
Nice. It's so pretty. This winds up being slightly tweedy. There's also a good amount of bits in here as well.
Yeah.
Which that's just the nature of the type of yarn. But I am obsessed. And it's very sad you can't get this anymore. There's plenty of yarn you can get to knit this sweater.
Yeah.
Don't be sad. Knit this sweater though. It's Caitlin Hunter's brilliant. Her designs
my goodness. She has gorgeous designs.
Perfectly. I tried it on last night. I'm so excited about how the yoke fits. And she's...
Is this your first Caitlin Hunter pattern?
This is my first Caitlin Hunter pattern. I know.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Are you going to go down a Caitlin Hunter rabbit hole now?
Well, I'm a Sari Nordland stan. So the next project I have is probably a Sari Nordland sweater. But then after that, she did put out that really...
the Birkin?
The new Colorwork sweater that
Isn't it the Birkin pullover?
With that very geometric...
Oh, yeah, that's really
gorgeous.
Good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have the name wrong.
And so that's what's in my knitting bag this week. See? I don't have all the chaos.
Positivity
pickles.
So we've got snacks and inspirational quotes. What are we going to have next month? My project bag isn't as exciting. I do have an adorable mood bag. It's the train case. I think is it the Lexi?
I don't remember.
I think it might be called the Lexi, but we'll link it for you. And I like it because it's this nice like train case. It's got a little carrying handle. It does flip open. And there's actually a divider in here, which you can't see because I have so much stuff shoved in. But I've got a divider so I can have 2 projects squished in here instead of just one. So I have and please note, I'm not using any of my 40 plus stitch stoppers on these projects. But I have my cowl that we already talked about, and I do have another cowl in here. This is the Bell Canto cowl from Winter's Weather Knits. And this is using a mono Eco Puna, which is undyed 100% baby alpaca.
And this is what you should use alpaca for.
Yeah,
because it's okay if it grows.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Oh my goodness, it's so
very soft.
So I have affectionately named this my Man with No Name cowl because it's giving me Clint Eastwood vibes from the Man
very
with
Wild
No Name.
Wild West.
Yeah,
I like it,
and I'm very excited to get this finished. I just finished up section 2, which means that I'm moving into section 3, and that's all decreases to shape the other side of the cowl. So
you're getting close.
It should be done in a relatively short amount of time. However, I think I'm going to have to put these projects on pause so I can go back in and fix my husband's sweater so that he can maybe wear it once before spring is fully here.
We'll get another cold snap, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will. We're in our second fall spring today. We have one day and that's
it.
Of warmth.
Courtney, we've been yapping for an hour.
An hour? Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you guys stuck with us and enjoyed what we had to talk about today.
I feel like we did a great job today.
Yeah.
So,
we found our groove.
Let us know that we did a great job.
Yeah. Even if we didn't, tell us we did a great job.
We love a positive reinforcement moment.
Yeah, a positive pickle reinforcement.
We love a positive pickle.
Well, I think that's all we have for you guys today.
It better be.
Yeah. So remember to like, comment,
follow,
and subscribe.
Share, subscribe.
Yeah,
click all the buttons.
Yeah.
And
I think that's it. Yeah. So remember, cast on responsibly.
Or don't. We're not going to judge.